So the setup for this, for the wheelchair skills test portion of this is the same as it is for descending the steep incline with all four wheels on the surface. You're a half a meter away from the start. There's a barrier at the bottom, 1.5 meters from the transition from the incline to the level surface. And it's basically the same instructions, which is, and you're spotting from behind. A spotter strap is fine for this. Or hand before the shoulder might be helpful if you're concerned that somebody's trunk balance may cause, if they land, that they,
Or they're
gonna
not very
fall
skilled
forward.
at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're ready to go?
Yep.
Okay.
Anytime you like.
Yep.
And we want the person to reach the bottom and land under control rather than the deceleration when reaching the level surface, bringing the casters down. So Cher, what about some training tips for this
Yeah.
one?
I'll go up and show. So like we're saying with the forward leaning, what tends to happen is when you look at the angle that I'm resting at, it's the same on the whole way down the incline, the ramp. But as a user, it feels very much like you have to lean back quite a bit. And so what tends to happen with folks is when they start to get on the ramp, and the ground sort of moves away from them at the bottom, it comes up behind, what they do is they pull and they come down like that. And that's usually for a less practiced user, that's what you're looking for spotting, is that they'll panic and grip their hands too firm and bring those front casters down. So for training, it's getting used to getting over this little transition on any ramp because you're going from level to the incline. And then once you're over that transition, it's just holding your hands still and letting the hand rims run through rather than trying to keep things moving. As soon as you start to take your hands on and off and push, then that pitch angle is a little bit harder to hold steady.
So did you want to just do it on the lower
Sure.
surface as well?
Personally, when I'm training, I do find it easier on the steeper surface. I find it helps just roll the wheels down more naturally. On the 1 to 12, the 5-degree grade, there's not enough of a grade to make it easy. And sometimes when you're going part way, you actually have to push yourself, which is more challenging for hand position. So again, once I get over that little transition, which is the same thing as the curb, I'm just going to try and keep my hands steady and my pitch angle the same the whole time.
Okay, great, thank you. Could you maybe do a little variation there of showing how the difficulty of starting on the incline rather than starting above the incline?
Yeah. So if I'm trying to start facing down, I have to lean back a whole lot more and get into that balance position, which can be more challenging. If I've got enough room on the ramp, as you can see when I'm lined up sideways, it's very easy for me to hold this position. So if now I'm on a cross slope and I get myself into the wheelie position, that's quite easy. I'm going to hold on to my bottom hand, let my top hand or the top wheel rotate down, and then I can come into this wheelie position and continue on from there.
Great. So Dee, maybe we bring you around here and we'll see Cher do that around some pylons like we did for the incline descent before, just as a training variation. So it's the relative amount of friction on each of the two hands that allows Cher to not only descend under control, but steer.
And this should be practiced on something a little bit wider, but just with the little things we might get caught on here, but you get the idea. I'm just loosening this hand and then loosening that hand, and away we go.
How about a 360 on the incline?
Well, why not? Weather's nice.
There's no good functional reason for doing so, but it can be fun.
Yeah, it can. So it's kind of, again, one of those overtraining things. So a confidence builder. We'll get people to start in this position and maybe work their way all the way up. And then again, come on down, not letting those casters touch. If you can get to there, then you're pretty good. You're going to be pretty confident.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Maybe we'll just do if we can go back to the side there, Dee, maybe we'll just do a caregiver descent.
Of the high?
Sure. Well, or just the low is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, again, if there are push handles, then coming, a caregiver bringing someone down forward in the wheelie position is a reasonable thing to do. Again, if there's no real imbalance, you're going to warn the person, I'm going to about to tip you back. Get back into the wheelie position and resting on your hands, and then you're just proceeding slowly. And you can stop and take a rest at any point by turning sideways if you need to. And then you can sort of resume the descent if it's a long incline. And just come down in a controlled manner at the bottom. Great, thank you. A training tip that we've added to the latest version of the manual, I don't know if you noticed that one, Cher.
Sure, I did.
It's
I've
if you
read it
come up
thoroughly.
and come down the incline in the wheelie position. This is suggested to us by a member of the editorial committee, Peter Axelson. And it was, if you've got a caregiver or a friend who's traveling with you and you're coming down in an incline, if the person comes down beside you, so that if you land prematurely, they can put their hand on your back to prevent runaway.
I'm putting my hand in my
Yeah, if you land, and you put your hand on my back, yeah, can sort of stop the person from,
Gotcha.
if they're on a steep incline,
Mhm.
that they otherwise might tumble down.
Feel unsafe.
So
Yeah.
nice addition from Peter
Nice.
Axelson. Yeah. Any questions about any of that?
Just go ahead.
So there is one question. So from my perspective, it seems it's more challenging to descend a ramp in a wheelie position than not. What is the benefits to descending in a wheelie
Just
versus
gonna
not?
get to. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the question. The one of the things that can happen on steep inclines, the Chair's going to be demonstrating here, that if you've got something that might spill, or you've got a heavy object like a laundry basket that you're worried about coming out, you can come down backwards, but if it's kind of steep, then you may prefer to sort of get back into the wheelie position.
So an example that has come up clinically before is a ramp out to out of the house. And how do you take out your garbage? You know, if you're taking out your belongings, you're going to have a backpack or something like that. But if you have a bag of garbage, you're just going to put something on your lap, and then as you go down the ramp, it's not going to roll off. You'll see, I'll just stop partway down. You see that if I didn't come down in a wheelie, it's all just going to go spilling all over the place. So being able to carry objects down is a pretty common reason for that. The other thing is this footplate is fairly high on this chair, but for many chairs, it's quite close to the ground. So if you look at this transition point here, you can often hit, or if you have small casters, they can get caught. If you think of when you're transitioning down a curb cut, often they're very short, but not always the right amount of pitch, that when you hit there can also be a little bit of a gully where the water runoff is. If you don't get into that wheelie position, or at least a transient tip until your casters get over, that can stop you and you can go catapulting out. So again, being able to do a longer distance confidently and getting in and out of the wheelie as you're going down inclines can be helpful for when you're doing shorter ones. We only need to do them briefly.
Could you go back up just to where we're missing the, so in this position, on a steep incline, Chair is leaning reasonably well back and maintaining weight on the rear wheels, but if you lean forward a little bit, you'll be able to demonstrate that you lose traction. And so on a steep enough incline, you can't come down under control in the forward direction.
Yeah.
You could turn around and come down backwards, but then you're at risk of a rear tip over.
Yeah.
So the wheelie, if you're able to do a wheelie, it's really a very safe and effective way of getting down. It's quite steep inclines.
Yeah,